America is often said by President Barack Obama, former President George W. Bush, and many others to be addicted to oil.
Approximately 20.6 million barrels a day are consumed in the U.S. That equates to almost 3 gallons every day for every man, woman, and child in the country.
Out of the 20.6 million barrels, 5,129,400, or nearly 25%, are used for industrial purposes. Some 9 million buildings still burn and use heating oil, 3/4 of them in the northeastern states.
So what is heating oil? Heating oil is a refined crude oil made from petroleum and used in furnaces or boilers to heat buildings. There are a variety of different heating fuels, but the most air pollution is from burning number 6 and number 4 oil, the dirtiest sludge from the bottom of the barrel.
Burning these high polluting grades of oil produce pollutants such as soot, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and carbon dioxide. As a comparison, this graph shows number 2 oil and natural gas to number 6 oil. As you can see, natural gas and number 2 oil have smaller emissions than number 6 oil. A new study shows that nickel-laden soot pollution coming from the heating oil is associated with respiratory symptoms in young children. New York City has twice the national asthma hospitalization rate among children from ages 0 to 14. Would you want your child in New York City with these statistics?
If that doesn't grab your attention, these 9,000 sludge-burning buildings, which represent 1% of the city's buildings, contribute 86% of the city's heating oil soot pollution. That is more soot pollution than from all of New York City's cars and trucks.
With that being said, there is no nationwide policy for this. There is nothing that addresses the heating and oil sector. New York City is attempting to do this now, but most states do not recognize it.
Under the PLANYC, they are trying to improve the environment and are creating a rule that by 2015, existing boilers must switch from number 6 to number 4 oil. And by 2030, number 6 must be completely phased out. While number 4 is not the cleanest, it is way better than the number 6 oil.
Obviously, there are many positives with a policy like this. The overall goal is to reduce particulate matter in New York City air by 5%, and not only improve air quality, but reduce health issues from poor air quality.
Specifically looking at numbers, a 200-unit apartment building switching from number 6 to natural gas is the same as taking 45 delivery trucks off the road.
Fairview Owner Corp., a real estate company in New York City, switched from heating oil to natural gas. The capital cost of the burner and fuel tank being replaced was $198,450. The annual savings of switching from oil to natural gas from 2008 to 2009 was $191,575, with a payback period of 1.035 years.
There are also downsides. Switching costs are relatively high. For example, the average cost of modifying a boiler to burn cleaner oil is $10,000, but it can be as high as $50,000. Not to forget, with limited state funding, the majority of the cost will be placed on individual building owners.
Based on simple economics, dirty oil is more convenient and cheaper than clean oil, which makes it have greater demand in the short run. In addition, building owners may have trouble obtaining tenants because they do not want to pay for higher heating fuels. However, over the next 10 years, it is likely that natural gas prices will be lower than prices for number 2, number 4, and number 6 oils. But short-run incentives for building owners to convert is not as financially attractive.
According to a peer-reviewed journal from HealthSource, a study concluded that cardiovascular deaths in New York City are directly attributable to pollution from the combustion of oils used to fuel city boilers.
According to an analysis conducted by the NYU School of Law, if all residential and commercial boilers were converted from number 6 to natural gas starting in 2012, by 2040, 7,500 lives would be saved. The EPA calculates each statistical human life is worth $6,900,208, which results in approximately $51 billion in total net benefits. Taking a look at the cost-benefit analysis from the same study, the benefits from switching would outweigh the cost 2 to 1 in terms of avoided mortalities and billions of dollars of measurable health benefits.
Obviously, based on this academic analysis, it is pretty clear that moving away from number 6 oil is a necessity for NYC and will reap a lot of benefits in comparison to the cost. The overarching problem is there is a lack of incentive for buildings, especially with low income, to not only meet requirements timely, but meet them ahead of schedule.
There are many potential ways to improve this current rule. including placing a tax on number 6 oil, thus making it more expensive to use, or implementing a moratorium on number 6 oil, making it impossible to use, or even allowing the government to put some mandate that requires all boilers to use natural gas. However, we believe that this is not a federal government issue, but is a statewide issue. As you can see from this graph, this is more of a problem for some states.
Therefore, we feel that the current plan for NYC is lacking proper state-funded incentives to get building owners to make the switch from number 6 to natural gas. Obviously, we understand it's going to be a phase-out process, and that the short-run costs from switching to natural gas may be too steep for some building owners, but it needs to be enforced before the year 2030, and that is when the state government steps in and implements a gradual tax on number 6 oil.
Our preferred policy will be to implement a 1% gradual tax rate every year, and by year 2017, number 6 oil will be more expensive than number 4 oil. And hopefully this provides incentive to phase out number 6 oil within the next 5 years. As you can see from this graph, in a little over this 5-year time span, the cost to consume number 6 oil will exceed the cost to consume number 4 oil, thus inspiring consumers to make a cost-saving switch to number 4 oil.
To sum it up, there are currently no federal regulations regarding heating oil emissions. New York City and its plan to tackle this issue is a good start, but lacking the proper financial incentives for building owners may prove to be a large obstacle in achieving this desired goal of cleaner air.
With our gradual tax on number 6 oil, we feel that a state-regulated tax would maximize net benefits to society and more efficiently reduce air pollution caused by heating oil in a timelier fashion.
The ultimate goal for New York City should be for all of its buildings to be heated using natural gas. But, as previously mentioned, the cost of directly switching from oil to natural gas can be very high. Therefore, a quick 5-year phase-out of the number 6 oil will immediately put this plan into motion.
If this gradual tax proves successful, a similar plan could be put into place for phasing out the number 4 oil and converting to number 2 oil. The financial incentives alone and quick recoup of investment for switching to natural gas should provide those building owners that can afford it to do so. For the many who can't, this gradual tax will give them time to plan for the future as heating costs begin to escalate.